Andy, let's go. Yeah, got a Johnny, I said it did, and I'll do a love, Johnny, hey, hey, hey. Sacred and I duck you did, I'll do that in a sit lady, hey, hey, George,
This is the Chesley River watershed, and it's here that a Vancouver-based junior mining company wants to create a mine. There's copper in these hills, some gold and silver too. The Copper Creek deposit is big enough, rich enough, and unique enough to support a mine and a long-term partnership with the Tahltan First Nation.
It's tied directly to their feelings towards the Chesley area in terms of spirituality, in terms of their history in that area, and I think all the values can be accommodated. Now, on the other side of the coin, I think it's also, to say that it's in our company and our shareholders' best interest economically to have a partnership.
Firesteel Resources Copper Creek project lies within the Golden Triangle of northwestern British Columbia. Beginning in the north, around the Telegraph Creek area, it extends south to Stewart and stretches from the coastal mountain range inland for about 75 kilometers. The Chesley River watershed is prime ground for metal-bearing rock formations.
What would be of the most concern is that they're in a known heritage area, and there's going to be archaeological evidence that could be disturbed. Also, too, I have to make that clear, is that the areas where they're drilling, there's low to moderate archaeological potential there.
Members of the Tahltan Central Council's Threat Committee visited the Chesley Exploration Campsite and Drilling Program. Their review has shown there is very little for elders to be concerned about.
The area within the Chesley Village site is protected by legislation, and also we have identified other archaeological sites within this area. So as they're identified, then those become what is in a sense no-go zones, so that they can't go there and disturb those remains, and they're protected. So there is a recourse underneath the law for that.
I heard a few rumors that we're running like through their graveyard sites and like showing showing them all the old buildings and stuff.
Doyle Day belongs to Chesley River Outfitters, a family-owned and operated guiding company. Located beside the airstrip, this Tahltan family has used and occupied the area for nearly 40 years. It's their backyard, and he says it's their sacred trust to protect the old village site.
I wouldn't even let them throw a cigarette butt around here. I just tell them that we're looking after Chesley here. I already told a few elders that we're not letting them walk over us, like over our land and stuff, and we protect this place, and we don't let them go around and just feel like, like they're really at home. Like here, it's home here to them, but our home is like around our surroundings around here for our children and stuff. So we watch them close.
Oh my God! 1511.
The people that we have employed on the property are first class. I mean, we've had very, very good people working for us, and I think they represent the Tahltan community at large. I really feel strongly that in this direction, whether it be value added and ownership, is in the best interest of the Firesteel shareholders to maximize the value for us, for the community, and for British Columbia.
As far as any project to move forward in the Tahltan territory, I think a good baseline study of the wildlife in the project footprint is a necessity.
Rick McLean is the wildlife manager for the Tahltan Central Council. He came to see for himself what potential impact the Copper Creek project might have on animals. He He says goat and moose will feel the presence of any mine development. That's why he says baseline studies are important, because they can prove compensation values for the Tahltan people.
Especially critical habitat, if you have a place where there's a lot of kidding areas for goats, for example, because there are a lot of goats in this country, and if you have an impact on their major kidding areas, it has an impact on the goat population as a whole. So we'd like to try to see that protected as much as we can, and if we have good baseline data, we have an argument to the government and to the mining companies down the road when we see reduction in animals, and it helps us if we have to get into a court of law to fight them for that.
It's very clear that that not just an accommodation has to be made for that, but that those values have to be protected unconditionally. And my belief is that that can happen, and that mining in a rather innovative manner or in a different manner can be done at the same time. We're an exploration company. The people that have invested are interested in exploration, mainly in northern British Columbia, and that's where most of our experience is up there. So that's where our interest lies. In this particular situation, there's the area was not glaciated as such, and there's a blanket lying on the top of the deposit, which was part of the original deposit, which the minerals have been altered by water and say oxygen development of that. So it's almost like two different mining situations going on at the same time: the leaching and the making of the copper, and the ability to open up the low-grade system underneath it. And these two things go hand in hand.
From what I have seen and have experienced so far, is that we can all work together. What I find when you have a company, or any type of company, working together with the First Nations on a one-on-one basis, you find nothing but mutual respect. And you find, what I found is a lot of knowledge sharing amongst ourselves by us speaking of our families, our friends, our concerns, you know, freely, not in no office setting or board setting. This is sitting around a dinner table, being served good food, and having the freedom to voice all our opinions in a respectful manner.
Firesteel Resources is a unique public company. They want all Tahltans to know they have equal opportunity for employment. The company also knows the cultural value of developing a good relationship with Telegraph Creek. The Copper Creek deposit also has a direct Tahltan connection, since it was first staked based on Tahltan elder knowledge in the 1950s.
My Grandpa Frank actually mentioned it to my dad, my father, who was Caucasian, but was a prospector, and but mostly for gold. And in the day that he mentioned it to Dad, there was no prices for copper were at nothing almost. But he mentioned that there was an area that he knew of where the mountain was all green. And when copper did come onto the market in about the mid-50s, my dad remembered that Frank Quock had told him where this green rock was, and went back in there and staked it. This was about 55, I believe.
Today, through a series of stock moves, Firesteel Resources now has a chance to turn the Green Mountain into a valuable product. And according to all who have met Firesteel's chief executive officer, Tahltan people couldn't ask for a better company to develop it.
I do see a lot of good coming out of this. And I also see Don trying to provide the best knowledge that he could to us younger generation.
I felt that he was very willing to share any information that he had, any knowledge he had of the heritage sites, and willing to enforce protection of those sites.
You know, when you got somebody who's in charge like that, who has a genuine feel for the culture and the people, makes it a lot easier to work together.
Don will talk to the people before he'll do anything, you know, and I'm pretty sure if the people don't agree, you know, like he's a nice man enough, I think he wouldn't let it go.